Joyce here. Welcome back to another one of my Looney tutorials. A very special extra tutorial again that I made for you all specifically for the holiday. So happy holidays in advance, and I hope you will all have a wonderful time filled with joy, love and laughter with your friends, family and loved ones. So today we're going to be making a design by Winnie Nagel again, and it's a holiday themed one. This hook only bracelet is called the Linus Christmas bracelet, and it was created by her a long time ago. As you might know from my zip it tutorial and the charm we made earlier, Winnie is a very talented former loomer from Denmark who has agreed to let me make some tutorials for her. So, yay! As you see, some of these are perfect for the holidays. This bracelet is so elegant and festive. It will look perfect on your wrist during the holiday season and all the festivities. I'll put a link to Winnie's Instagram down in the description box so you can see more of her creations. But it's easiest if you search for her by using the hashtag you see on your screen now, so Winnie Nagel. I'm going to make a few more of her designs in the future, so keep an eye on my socials for that. Now stay tuned till the end of the video because I will tell you all the tags you can use when you post your creation so that both me and Winnie can see them too. We would love that. And I will also tell you how you can contact me if you want me to make a tutorial for one of your own designs, okay? Enough jingle bells, let's grab some stuff and let's get looming. For today's bracelet you will need your hook, of course. Now it's easiest if you use a double-ended hook like the Looney Loom hook from the Rainbowloom website itself, or a double-ended crochet hook, but you can definitely use your regular hook for this design as well. You will just need to pinch your bands and take your hook out and turn everything around at certain points in the design, quite a lot actually, but there will not be a whole lot of bands on your hook. It's an 8-loop setup, so it is doable. And we'll need a C-clip, of course, for closing purposes, and I will be keeping my cap band in check with my best friend over here. Now, you can also always keep your cap band in check with your C-clip, of course, guys. And it actually makes a whole lot more sense for hook-only designs to always put a C-clip or something on your cap band. And the reason is that 1, it is easier to keep your cap band in check that way, and 2 is that it's just easier to close up your bracelet later. Okay, now we'll need some bands, of course, and I will be using 4 colors for this bracelet in the same color scheme as this one over here, because I like how wintry and frosty like Elsa that it looks, so I'm going to use these colors. I will be laying out the pattern again for you later, so you can always match your colors up with my pattern again. And I will be posting the 2 thumbnails in the corner right there again as well for referencing the pattern and a piece of the design, okay? Now, this design is symmetrical, so what we do on the left side, we also do on the right side, okay? And like I said, it's an 8-loop setup, so that's 4 on one side, 4 on the other side. Now really, the pattern itself isn't hard at all, but it does have some loony steps in it, of course, because yeah, it's one of my loony tutorials, so it kind of has to, right? I will be going slow and steady, so you can just follow along with me. And always remember, you can pause the video to catch up, rewind to watch something again, and of course you can always speed me up if I'm going too slow for you. I will always put timestamps in my tutorial, so you can find certain parts really quickly by clicking the timestamps in the description box below or the chapters that you see there. And yeah, that should be it, I think. Let's make some holiday cheer. We're going to start working on the pattern almost immediately, but first we have to put some bands on our hook. And as I said before, all beginnings and endings of hook-only designs are always a little bit different from the rest of the pattern, so I will be laying out the pattern for you later, but for now just follow along and pay close attention, okay? So we're going to start by putting a cap band on our hook, and I always choose one in the color of that base color that you see running throughout the whole bracelet here. So that's glitter white in my case, but you can choose whatever color you want to, of course. And to make the cap band, you simply place the band on your hook, you give it a twist, and you put the other end on your hook, creating your figure 8 shape that is your cap band. And as I said before, you can put your C-clip on here, which is actually a pretty smart idea to keep your cap band in check and make it easier to close up your bracelet later. But I'm too clumsy, so I am going to use my stitch marker first. And now we are going to work on our 8 loop setup. So we're going to pull through some bands. And first we're going to pull through another band in our base color. So that's that glitter white again from me. And you're pulling that band under under both loops of the cap band. And before closing it up, you're going to pick up the loop of the cap band that is farthest away from your hook. And then you close it up. Now make sure that these bands stay in the correct order because they always have a tendency to come undone, okay? So just keep an eye on that. Now we're going to pull through another band in our base color in the same fashion. You pull it under the first 2 loops on your hook. We're fishtailing these bands on. And now you're picking up the band that is farthest away from your hook. And then you close it up. And now you already have 3 bands on this side, because this band belongs to the other side, as I explained to you in a previous tutorial. So now we have to put our last band on this side, and that is actually the band that you see poking out here. So you can leave it in the same color, or you can choose whatever color you want to. I found it very quirky to give it another color. Okay, so that is silver for me, and you're doing that in the same way as we did before. You pull it under the first 2 bands on your hook. Before closing it up, you pick up the band that is farthest away from your hook. And then you close it up. And now we have 4 loops on this side. So now we are going to slide and turn and do the same thing on the other side. Now before we can start adding bands on this side, we always have to first pick up the other part of the cap band that's down here. So you pinch off your first band and take your hook out really carefully, pick up that other end of the cap band that's down there, close it back up, and now you already have the first 2 loops of the 4 loops you need on this side. So the 3rd loop will be one in our base color again. So we're doing the same thing as on the other side. You pull it under the first 2 loops on your hook, fishtail it on, is what it's called. And then you pick up the loop that is farthest away from your hook. And then you close it up. And the last band that we're going to pull through is that silver colored band. So the accent color, let's call it that. You pull it under the first 2 loops on your hook as well. Pick up the band that's farthest away from you. Oops, that's band number 1. And then you close it up. And there you have the start of each section will be your 8 loop setup. Okay? Now the next band that we're going to pull through is our middle colored band. And that is that band that you see poking through here. I used the glow in the dark electric blue, I believe is what it's called. Okay, and you're going to pull that band under the first 7 bands on your hook. So that's almost everything, not the final band. And you're going to drop everything except the middle 2 bands. So that's band number 4 and 5. So you're going to pick up band 4 and 5, and you're going to pick up the outer band. So that's band number 1, in my case, the outside of the silver band. Then you're going to close it up, and that middle band probably wants to travel to the middle on its own, but otherwise you're just going to help it out a little bit by putting that outside band, band number 1, actually on the outside, okay? The next bands that we're going to pull through will be in our base color again, and here comes the loony part of this tutorial, one of many to follow. You're going to pull this band under the first 2 bands on your hook, and you're going to create a little bit of room. And as you can see, that silver band, band number 1, wants to fold over band number 2 almost automatically. You see that? So you're just going to help it along, fold it over the second band, and you're going to pick up band number 2. So that is that middle colored band, the electric blue in my case. And then you're going to close it up, and as you can see, you have made that outside curl now. You see, by folding that band to the middle. Now you're going to slide everything to the other side, and we're going to do the same thing again. So you grab your base colored band, and you pull it under the first 2 loops on your hook. Create a little bit of room on your band. And as you can see, that band wants to fold over automatically, so just help it a little bit. And you pick up the other band, band number 2, from under that band number 1 that you folded over. Okay, and then you close it up. And now we already made those 2 curly bits on the outside. See? Now the next band that we're pulling through will be our X colored band. So that is that band that you see right here. So that's metallic blue for me, and you're going to pull that band under the first 7 loops on your hook. So that's almost all the way to the end again. Come up over there, and you're going to pick up loop number 3 and loop number 6. So loop number 6 is here because it's the inside part of that band that we just added. And usually they're poking up a little bit already, you see. And you're going to pick up band number 1, the outside band, and then you're going to close it up. And you're going to rearrange band number 1 over that metallic band that I just pulled through, that X colored band, to make sure that that X colored band sits on the inside, like so. And next we're going to pull through another one of those middle colored bands, so that glow in the dark blue that I was using. And we're going to pull it under all 6 loops on our hook. And we're only going to pick up loop number 2 and loop number 5. So that is that X colored band that we just pulled through. So here we have loop number 5 and loop number 2. And then we're going to close it up. There. And now we're going to have to work on getting our 8 loop setup back again. But before we can start adding our bands to get back to that 8 loop setup, first we're going to have to make that little cross in the middle, right? And we're simply going to do that by crossing these 2 bands over each other. And I find it's easiest to always do it the same way. Pick up that first band and pull it over the second band. And the design is a little bit tight at this point, so you want to make sure that you keep a hold on that band that you just folded over. And now we can start building our 8 loop setup again. And this is the next loony part of this tutorial because it is a little bit tricky. You want to pull your next band under the first 2 loops on your hook and come up between this crossed over bit. So you really have to make sure that the bands stay crossed over, okay? Now the first band you're going to pull through will be in your base color again. And you're going to pull it, as I said, under the first 2 loops on your hook. And they always have a tendency to get undone, so I hope I can get it on camera. There we go. Create a little bit of room. Come up between the cross. As you see, mine is still crossed over. If at first you don't succeed, try a million times again, okay? And then before closing it up, you're going to pick up band number 1 that is farthest away from you. And then you close it up. And the next band that you're going to pull through, we have 3 bands on this side already for our 8 loop setup. So the last band is that accent colored band. Okay, so that's that silver in my case. We're going to do the same thing. You're going to pull it under the first 2 loops on your hook. Before closing it up, you're going to pick up the loop that's farthest away from you, loop number 1, and then you close it up. Okay, now my cross is still crossed over, thank goodness. Now we're going to slide everything to the other side, turn it around, and do the same thing again. Now, our bands are crossed over already, so we don't have to do that part. We're going to pull our base colored band under the first 2 loops on our hook. Pick up the loop that's farthest away from us. And then close it up. And now we're going to pull through that accent colored band again, so that's silver in my case. You're pulling your band under the first 2 loops on your hook. And before closing it up, you pick up band number 1 and then you close it up. And now we are back to our 8 loop setup, which is actually the start of each pattern. Okay, so let me lay out that pattern for you. Okay, so at the start of each section we will have our 8 loop setup on our hook, and we're going to add our middle colored band first. And then we're already to the first loony part of the design, where we're going to fold over the 2 outer bands to the middle by adding a base color band on either side of the pattern and do that folding. Then we're going to add our X colored band. Then we're going to add another middle colored band, and then we're only going to pick up those 2 loops of the X, right? Then we're over to the next loony part of the design, and that is where we make that cross in the middle and we start building our 8 loop setup again. So you pull your first band, the base colored band, under that first loop of that X, and then you add another band to work on that 8 loop setup, which is that accent color, the outside color that you see here. And then you're already back to your 8 loop setup right here. So we go back to the top of the pattern. Okay, now I'm going to put 2 thumbnails up in the screen up there again. One will be a close-up of one of the sections of the bracelet, and one will be the pattern as I laid it out for you for your reference. But you can just choose whatever color you want to and match it up with the pattern that I've laid out for you. Okay, now let's get back to it. Okay, so back to our 8 loop setup and the start of a new section. And as you can see up there, the first band that we're going to pull through is a middle colored band. So that's that electric blue for me. And you're going to pull that band under the first 7 loops on your hook. So that's almost everything. You're going to come up just before the last band. And you're going to pick up band number 4 and 5, the middle 2 bands. So that's that base color over here. And you're going to pick up band number 1, which is that outside of that accent color. Then you're going to close it up and you're going to make sure that that accent color sits on the outside. Sometimes it goes automatically and sometimes you have to help it a little bit. Okay, now here comes the loony part number 1 of this design. And that is that we're going to be curling these bands over to the middle, right? So you're going to grab a band in your base color and you're going to pull it under the first 2 loops on your hook. Create a little bit of room. And as you can see, band number 1 wants to fold over band number 2 almost automatically already. So just help it along a little bit and scoop up band number 2 from in there. Okay, then you close it up and you have folded over your first band. Now we're going to slide and turn and do the same thing on the other side. So you grab your base colored band, pull it under the first 2 bands on your hook. Come on. There we go. Create a little bit of room and fold that first band over that second band and scoop up that second band from in there and then close it up. Okay? That's the first loony part already done. Now, as you can see up there, the next band that we're going to pull through is our X colored band. And you're going to pull that band under the first 7 bands as well. So almost to the end. And before closing it up, you're going to pick up bands number 3 and band number 6. Usually they're already sticking up a little bit, band number 3 and band number 6. And you're going to pick up band number 1, so the outside band. Then you're closing it up. And you want that band number 1, the outside band, to sit on the outside of that X colored band, like so. Now the next band that we're going to pull through is a band in our middle color again. And you're going to pull it under all 6 bands on your hook. And before closing it up, you're going to pick up that X colored band again. So that's band number 2 and band number 5. Okay, so here's band number 5 and band number 2. Come here. And then you're closing it up. Like so. Okay? And now we're ready to start working on the second loony part of this design, and that is crossing these middle bands over each other, okay? And you're going to always pull the second band over the third from left to right, so that all your crosses are facing the same way, and it is easier to pull your next bands through that middle gap over here. See, my crosses are all facing the same way. If they're not, you should slide and turn, okay? Now we're going to start working on our 8 loop setup. So you're going to pull, as you can see up there, a base colored band through. And you want that band to come up between these two crossed over bands over here. Now, it is very hard to keep them crossed over because the design is a bit tight at this point. As you can see, they really have a tendency to come undone. So use whatever you have to convince them to stay crossed in the right way. There we go. They're still crossed. Create a little bit of room and you're going to pick up the outside band, band number 1, and then you're going to close it up. Okay, now the next band you're going to pull through is that accent colored band. And you're doing the same thing. You pull it under the first 2 bands on your hook. Pick up band number 1, the outside band, and close it up. And now we have 4 loops on one side already. So we're going to slide and turn, and we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Thankfully, we already have our cross now. So we're going to pull our base colored band under the first 2 loops. Create a little bit of room. Before closing it up, you pick up band number 1, the outside band, and then you close it up. And last, you're going to pull through your accent colored band. Pull it under the first 2 loops on your hook. Pick up band number 1 and close it up. Okay, and we're back to our 8 loop setup and ready to start a new section. Okay, so I'll put a timestamp that says pattern repeat right here and I'll do a few more sections with you. But if you think that you got it from here, you skip to the part where it says closing up and I will show you how you can get a nice finish on your bracelet and put your C-clip on, okay? Okay, so back at the start, we're going to pull through, as you can see up there, our middle colored band first, under the first 7 loops on our hook. And you're going to pick up band number 4 and band number 5, the middle 2 bands, and band number 1. And then you close it up. Make sure that band number 1 sits on the outside. And now we're going to do that first loony step. So you're going to pull a base colored band, whoops, under the first 2 loops on your hook. You're going to fold first band over the second band, scoop up that second band, close it up. Now you're going to slide everything to the other side, turn it around and do the same thing. Your base colored band goes under the first 2 bands on your hook. Fold band number 1 over band number 2 and scoop up band number 2. Close it up, like so. Now we can pull our X colored band under the first 7 loops on our hook. And we're going to pick up band number 3 and band number 6, which are usually sticking up a little bit already. And band number 1. And you close it up and you make sure that that band number 1 sits on the outside of that X colored band, like so. Next we're going to pull through another mid colored band. And you're going to pull this under all 6 bands on your hook. And you're only going to pick up that X colored band. Band number 2 and band number 5. And you close it up. And now we're ready for the second loony part. So we're going to cross our middle bands over each other. Band number 2 over band number 3. And start building our 8 loop setup again. So the first band is that base colored band that you're going to pull under that loop of that X. Make sure that they stay crossed, which really isn't easy, but use whatever you can to make sure that it happens. Oops, there we go. Create a little bit of room, pick up band number 1, and then close it up. The last band on this side that we're going to pull through is our accent color. Pull it under the first 2 loops on your hook. Before closing it up, you're going to pick up band number 1. And then you slide and turn and you do the same thing on the other side. Pull a base colored band, excuse me, under the first 2 bands on your hook, 2 loops I mean on your hook. There we go. Create a little bit of room by tugging on it. Pick up band number 1 and close it up. And then last you're going to pull through that accent colored band under the first 2 loops on your hook. Pick up band number 1 and close it up. And we're back to our 8 loop setup again and ready to start a new section. So we're going to start by pulling through that middle colored band again under the first 7 loops on our hook. And you're only picking up the middle 2 bands, bands 4 and 5, and band number 1, the outside band. Close it up, put that accent colored band to the outside, and then you're ready for Looney part number 1. So you're going to pull a base colored band under the first 2 loops on your hook. And that first band wants to cross over band number 2 almost automatically. Just help it along a little bit, scoop up band number 2 and close it up. And we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Grab your base colored band, pull it under the first 2 loops on your hook, fold band number 1 over band number 2 and scoop up band number 2 and close it up. There we go. And now we're ready to add our X colored band. And you're also pulling this under the first 7 loops on your hook. And you're going to pick up band number 3 and band number 5. Band number 5, band number 3 and band number 1, the outside band. You close it up. Make sure that band number 1 sits on the outside. And now you're ready for your next middle colored band. And you're pulling this under all 6 loops on your hook. And only picking up band number 2 and band number 5, which is that X colored band. Close it up. Like so. And now we're ready for that second Looney part again. So we're going to cross these middle bands over each other. 2 over 3. Grab a good hold of that band. Make sure that they stay crossed. And now we're going to start working on our 8 loop setup again. So we're going to pull our base colored band under the first 2 loops on our hook. Make sure that these crossed over bands stay crossed over. Create a little room on your band, pick up band number 1 and close it up. And then lastly you're going to pull through your accent colored band. Pull it under the first 2 loops on your hook. Pick up band number 1 and close it up. Now we're going to slide and turn and do the same thing on the other side. Pull your base colored band under the first 2 loops on your hook. Create a little bit of room, pick up band number 1, close it up. Lastly, pull through your accent colored band, also under the first 2 loops on your hook. Pick up band number 1 and close it up. And we're back to our 8 loop setup again. Now, if you got it from here, just stay tuned and I'm going to show you how to create a nice finish on your bracelet and close it up and put your C-clip on there. Otherwise, you can go back to the timestamp where it says pattern repeat and we can do a few more sections together, okay? Okay, so once your bracelet is long enough and you're ready to close it off, you have to be back at the start of a new section. Okay, so your 8 loop setup. And the first thing we're going to do is pull a middle colored band under the first 7 loops on our hook. So exactly the same as we've been doing before. You're going to pick up the middle 2 bands, band number 4 and 5, and the outside band and close it up. Exactly the same. Make sure that accent colored band sits on the outside. And now we're going to do something different. We're going to pick up a base colored band and pull it under all 6 bands on our hook. And that first and last band are those accent colored bands that we want folding over to the middle. So what we're going to do, grab a hold of that band that you just pulled through, stick your hook back in, grab that middle colored band and pull it under band number 1. Or you just help it along with your finger, of course, you can do that too. And the same thing on the other side, you want that band to fold over. Band number 2, scoop up that band, close it up. So now we have our nice curls made. And lastly, we're simply going to pull a base colored band through all 4 bands on our hook. And that is the band that you can put your C-clip on. Right here. Okay, there we have it, the beautiful Linus Christmas bracelet by Winnie Nagel. Yep, you guessed it. Well, that was it for today, my Looney Loomers. I hope you all had fun making this beautiful Linus Christmas bracelet by Winnie Nagel. I love how it looks, and making it is so fun and quirky. I love things that you fold over and you cross bands, you know that by now. When you have made this bracelet and you post it on social media, make sure to tag me and Winnie in the pictures and use the hashtags you see on your screen right now, and I will put these in the description box below. Please don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel with the button you see right here. Come find me on Instagram too, please, for more of my content and creations. The link for that is in the description box below as well. And if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to message me here on Facebook or on Instagram. You are always welcome with me, I promise. And should you have made a design you want me to make a tutorial for, please feel free to contact me for that as well. Send me some pictures if you can, and we'll see if I can make a tutorial for you too. Okay? Stay tuned. Turn on your notifications for more of my content and tutorials coming up. Stay colorful, stay creative, and most of all, stay loony. Happy holiday, guys. That's all, folks.